Hey everyone, my name is Sean, and welcome to the Anime Revolution podcast. Today, I am joined by my co-host and friend, Tepez.
Hello everyone, I am Tepez, here with Sean. What we will be doing today is discussing a few things.
Today, we're going to give a brief introduction on ourselves, as well as do our top 10 favorite anime list, favorite characters, and the first anime we ever watched. So starting up with today, we're going to go to Tepez.
Okay, so my name's Tepez currently, but I'm not. I will give everyone my real name eventually. I've told Sean it took him about forever, but the things I like to do. I'm a gamer. I like to read old style novels like Shakespeare, but I'm more into the medieval style. Like one of the books I'm still reading and I have not finished because I've been currently busy is Airy. It's the fourth book of the Joust series. And right now, and one of my favorite hobbies that I do over gaming, sad to say, is go out riding with my father in trails on ATV. And for people who don't know what ATV is, it's all-terrain vehicle, or also known as a four-wheeler. And those are majority things. I used to listen to just metal, and then I just death metal. And that was in my teen ages. Now I listen to basically whatever sounds good. Currently I've been listening to some Instalock and Falcon Shield. Yeah, I know, parodies, whatever. And also, sad to say, Caramella Dancing, which, from Caramella Girls, my apologies. It's been an addiction, sadly. But basically, that's the short side of me. And I'm also fun to talk to, and I like to joke around. Your turn, Sean.
Alright, my name is Sean King, and I am a high school student in Ohio. I watch a lot of anime. I play League of Legends, Counter-Strike. I'm a football player. I play on the offensive line. I wrestle for our school's wrestling team. Unfortunately, though, the past 2 years I tore my ACL, which halted my season very abruptly. And in my free time, while I'm not playing sports or doing schoolwork, I hang out with my friends. I try to keep up on almost every show that's airing this season, and hopefully we can provide you guys with something that's a little entertaining and hopefully a little bit educational for people who haven't seen the shows before. Maybe they're new to anime or just want to see what other people think about our opinions on the shows that they watch and that they love and hate. Going into our top 10 list, however, though, we're going to go back to Tepez, and he's going to give you a rundown of his top 10 favorite anime of all time.
Okay, so I made this list at random, but majority of them I do, and I may change it depending on how I feel. Some currently I kind of feel are misplaced, but this is basically a rundown of kind of animes I like, and basically a lot of that I actually very enjoyed quite much and had a few laughs, and one had actually shed a tear, which is hard for me. So 10 currently takes the place is called Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, Aren't They? I found this anime to be quite hilarious, as the main character Izuyoi was, oh my god, he was just hilarious. He continuously picked on Black Rabbit, who is another one of the main characters. He just seemed to have so much fun toying with her, which actually was hilarious, especially just on the few. Which one was, I believe, in episode 6 when they went to the other side of the place, of the world. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it properly without rewatching it. And and they pulled the prank. Izuyo and the other two decided to pull a prank on Black Rabbit, saying that if she could not catch them before the end of the day, before they reached the location, that they would leave the community forever. And it got her very angry, which was quite hilarious. So at number 9, I'm pretty sure most people have watched it or at least heard of it. Elfen Lied, or Lied for some reason. It's spelled but pronounced Lead. I don't know. I found this show to be quite saddening and very emotionally attaching as well, and a little creepy in a way. I enjoyed it. I found Lucy to be her development, as she was so nervous and scared, and the fact that she also tried to kill people created a weird atmosphere that I found, and I enjoyed it quite a lot, and I had watched it multiple times because, well, I enjoyed it. Number 8, some of you may disagree with where I said it, but I only recently finished it because I was looking for another anime that was a little more romance or seinen. Toradora. I found this to be quite amazing, like really amazing. And I liked Isaka the best because, well, who doesn't like a little girl that's bossy? And number 7, I only watched it because, well, it was a horror, and I love horror. Future Diary. I found this to be really good, but also the fact of a psychotic girlfriend that stalks you, and, well, she'd kill for you. Having a girlfriend that would actually kill for you actually is quite impressive, but a little too much in my opinion. But it was very well done and very entertaining, especially watching it at midnight. So number 6, Rosary plus Vampire. I watched it because it has a vampire, and I love vampires. I'm a huge fan of Dracula. That's why I go by the name as Tepes. If you all know, Vlad Dracula was known as Tepes by his allies, also but by his enemies. His Turkish enemies called him Kazeklu, which both mean the Impaler. But Kazeklu and Tepes actually both mean Impaler, while Bey means Lord. So Kazeklu also means Impaler Lord. But about Rosary plus Vampire, I mostly watched it because I'm a fan of Alexis Tipton, who played Mocha Akashiya, who's the main character, and I found her outer personality, which is her inner cute and loving, innocent personality, to be very adorable and very amusing. But then there was the inner Mocha, which was played by Colleen. Can't remember the last name. Horrible pronunciation sometimes. But I loved her personality as the inner Mocha, which was very entertaining. And so, on to my 5th. Soul Eater. Well, I watched this a few years ago, and, well, it was awesome. That's all I have to say. Nothing more. Gurren Lagann. Well, I honestly don't know why I originally decided to watch it. I was like, oh, whatever. I mostly watched it because Yoko looked appealing. That was about it. And, well, the show was amazing. I loved it. Everything about it was good. Sometimes with the artwork, I got a little. I sometimes with the artwork I didn't like, but most of the artwork was phenomenal. I enjoyed almost everything about it. It was a great anime. A great anime. Pardon me. Number three, literally, this is my top three because I cannot stop watching it. I literally watched the whole series in 2 days straight, just like not not moving from my computer. My mother was even telling me to get off. I'm like, no, I'm watching a show. Is Death Note takes number three. I found the development of Light Yagami to be very, very well done and very, very sadistic. As you find out how an average high school student who's very smart, how just the fact that he's given control and power of another person's life or everyone's lives just from a notebook. That's called the Death Note, where by how much it created development in that you can take an average person and just giving them some power over another person's life can create them to be so psychologically unstable that they become psychopaths, which is how I kind of describe Light Yagami's development. Two, this was a tough call between my first and second, but I'm not sure. But right now, at number two is Clannad. This was literally one of the only shows that actually almost made me cry. I watched it on my way to school every day, and I would also watch it during my psychology class when we had a free class or we're done, etc. And so my friend and I would watch. My friend would watch it with me at times too. During Clannad After Story, I think it was episode 18, I believe. That was literally the saddest part of my whole time of watching Clannad. Like, I could not stop watching the series. It just really filled me up with tears and emotions, which is hard for me to feel. And no, I'm not like a cyborg. That'd be cool though. And number one to top it off would be Code Geass. I love the artwork, the character developments, how much Lelouch hates Britannia for what Britannia has done towards him and his sister Nonali. And the fact that Nonali had become blind and unable to walk really is a touching and emotional thing. And the fact that Lelouch would do so much just for his little sister basically was like the most touching thing I've seen or heard, because like I have a sister myself, and I would kill to protect her for anyone hurts her, stabs her, cheats on her. Like, she had her boyfriend were to cheat on her, I'm there for, like, no matter what. But the things that Lelouch v. Britannia did for his sister Nonali was outstanding. And basically that's it in my top 10 animes, and hope you all liked what I had to say. It may change next time or it may not.
And my top 10. My top 10 anime are surprisingly different, but they're all shows that are near and dear to my heart, and it's going to change over time too as I watch more shows and I expand, and hopefully the community can give us some feedback. I cheated a little bit. I gave myself 2 honorable mentions, which tied my number 10 spot, unfortunately. So, starting with the honorable mention number 1 is Code Geass. For the same reasons that Tepez gave, it was an exciting ride all the way through that I got emotionally attached to some of the characters and wasn't very fun for me. Another honorable mention was Toradora, because I have a thing for girls with blue hair, and Ami was number 1 blue-haired ever. So she kind of found a place in my sort of Cinderella heart, I guess. Number 10, though, is a notable show that was on Tepez's list as well, which is The Future Diary. And I like this show for different reasons, though. More for like the character interaction between the two main characters. I just felt like there was like a romantical bond kind of building, but it was so one-sided at one point though that I was like, okay, I got to see how this turns around in the end. And actually, after watching the OVA though, it it kind of gave me a change of heart about the show, and I came to love it. And number 9, Death Note. I read the manga a long time ago, and it was it was absolutely incredible. And my friend told me to watch the series, and I'm a skeptic pretty much. I expected most series to ruin a manga because it deviates off of source material. But when I came into Death Note and I saw L and all my favorite characters, and like, it proved to me that the anime can stick to a manga plotline and do so effectively. And it it built a love so hard for this show, like that it engraved itself in my heart, and it's gonna stay on this list for a long time. At number 8, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. This show, yeah,
Yeah, that was literally an amazing show.
um, Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Where do I even begin about the show? Time travelers, espers, cyborgs, cute moe girls, tea time, in a club room of all things, right? Like, basically, I was really skeptical, again, because I'm a skeptic. When I read the plot synopsis, high school boy in a club room meets a girl with unusual club mates, I was like, okay, so another crappy slice of life show coming from a very well-known studio, though, granted. I had to give it a chance. So, I gave it a chance, and after a very, very harsh Endless 8, I survived, and I'm a proud member of the Endless 8 Club to say that The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is one of my favorites of all time. Going into number 7, Eden of the East. Another very, very, very good show that brought its way into my anime fandom. Very, very touchy subject, though. Terrorism and death games. It kind of combined what I've liked about The Future Diary and Zonkyo no Terror into one show, I think. And I loved both shows, and that's how it became at number 7. Number 6, Welcome to the NHK. This show is about a hikikomori, or a NEET, not an education, employment, or training, guy who's a huge kind of shut-in, and he keeps away from the world, and he's done so for 3 years, and kind of his mental progression through those following years with the help of his friends and his love interests and whatnot, and how he kind of escapes the shadow of his depression and everything that kind of chains him to his house. And the way that he does it is through this lovely girl who he meets, who brings him literally to the outside world for the first time in 3 years and plunges him into urban society. And it's a great watch. I recommend it to almost everyone. But my number 5 is a show that is one of the most highly regarded shows of all time, and I think it's going to stay on this chart for forever. Steins Gate. A very slow starting show. First 3 episodes kind of deterred me, so I stopped watching it. And I recently came back into it, and not going to do a lot of spoilers though, but time travel is screwy. Always been a fan of time travel plots though, like Doctor Who and other sci-fi series that involve screwing with the past or whatnot, or I think that Steins Gate is a must-watch for anyone who likes science fiction, or any anime fan in general, I think, who's looking for a new watch. We're going into a completely different genre, though. We're going to go into a show that is the pinnacle of all action, drama, romance, adventure shows of all time. Fate Zero. And romance is a very loose term for this anyway, though. But like, you kind of see like how relationships can build and whatnot in this show, and not always romantic, but sometimes in the predecessor. But I'm not going to spoil that yet, though, because it's a whole different show. Fate Zero is basically the prequel to Fate's Day Night, one of my favorite series, which is not on this list, and it should be an honorable mention.
And Saber is my favorite character from Fate's Day Night.
And Saber is very, 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 very favorable in my list of top anime characters. But she doesn't make the first one, though, so stay tuned for that.
Well, it's because I have a thing for blondes, so.
There you go. Fate Zero, number 4. And a completely 360 turn, though, on my number 3, is a show called Anohana. And Anohana is a very 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 special show. God damn it! There's background noise. I'm gonna restart that. Number 3, Anohana, which has a very 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 special place in my heart. Anohana is the story of a boy who has visions, or what he thinks are visions of a ghost, of his childhood friend, Menma, who died when she was a young girl by drowning in a local stream. With the help of others and childhood friends, their childhood at her death basically shattered, and all the friends kind of took on different walks of life and whatnot, and they're in high school now, and the ghost of her friend brings them back together, and they try to send her back to heaven. And it was one of the few shows that made me cry. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty touching. Number 2, Gosick. Gosick has a very, very special place in my heart as well. All of these shows have a special place in my heart. Gosick, I have a thing for lollies. Great character. Victory is easily top 5 characters in my opinion. It's mystery, romance, drama, action, all combined into one nice little snowball. And I think it deserves my number 2 spot, and it definitely deserves a watch somewhere. I don't support piracy, but since it does not hold a license currently, and importing it is very, very expensive. Like, I found a copy of it, and that's how I got it. Ridiculously expensive, like at an anime con. Online, not so much, but you have to be careful about finding and buying bootlegs, which is a whole other story for another day. Number 1, though, is a very available show on almost all platforms.
And it is really one of his favorite, which she had recommended me to watch. And I currently am watching it, and I so far do enjoy it. And I will see how I like it, and if it may end up in my top 10 list as well.
It is called Spice and Wolf, seasons 1 and 2, of course. And this show has everything for me. It has the drama, action, it has the deep thinking aspects of a mystery combined with the fast-paced sort of business action. It combines everything I love about the real world and everything I love about the fantasy world and brings both of them together. Not to mention that Holo and Kraft are 2 of my favorite characters of all time, and I'll talk more about them later, but it is a great show. I cannot recommend it enough. If you can get your hands on it, it's on Netflix, or at least the second season is, for legal streaming on Hulu, Funimation, licensed by Funimation, on sale on their website. Very, very cheap, in fact, actually. You can buy the box set for, I believe, around $40-$50. Don't quote me on that, though. Check their website, though, and buy it legally, if you can.
Or you can buy it off Amazon or stream it. Or there is what other people do, is illegally download, which I will not say who does it.
Of course, because that'd be dishonest, correct?
Yeah, 113 gigs.
113 gigs to be specific of pirated anime. Not anyone on the show, of course, correct? No.
Yes, correct.
Okay, anyway, going on to our next segment, though, we're going to go into our favorite character of all time. Topaz, what is your favorite character?
Currently,
Or who is your
currently
favorite
my
character?
favorite. What?
Or who is your favorite character?
Currently, for the male aspect, I'd have to go with Izuyoi from Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, aren't they? I originally had a different character. I loved Lelouch because I liked how intelligent and strategic he was. But the reason why I like Izuyoi so much better, I love his Joker style personality where he likes to have fun. He's just an all around like amazing person, amazing style, like a kind of guy you'd want to hang out with. He acts cocky at times, but like he's not all talk. He actually has the stuff to back it up. So why not be cocky if you can back up what you're saying? So I enjoyed him. But for female characters, it's a tough because there's so many female characters, so many different styles. Like I love Mocha Akashiya. She's one of my favorite characters. Uh, People like Hinata from Naruto. I personally am not a fan of Hinata. I
However,
like Sakura over her.
if he says anyone from Queen's Blade, though, I'm firing him from the show.
What? No, I don't like. I'm not. Okay. The show was okay. It had a nice story, but no. Musubi, one of my favorite. The two top characters I would have to say. So okay, actually three because I can't really narrow it down. Would be Satellizer L. Bridget from Friesen, just because I like her personality and come on, she wears glasses. Like that's awesome. Kazehana from Sekirei, because well,
Okay, we're
Kazehana from Sekirei. The reason why I enjoy her so much is because well, she has that free spirit personality that she doesn't really care. She drinks nothing but sake, which well, who doesn't like alcohol? Like seriously. And okay, three. Sorry to say, but she's a goddamn hot anime character. And don't worry, I don't watch it. I only watched the series about twice, just because Alexis Tipton was originally in it. And the third character that I'd have trouble debating with would be Ursa Scarlet Titania from Fairy Tail. She's one of those characters where they're enjoyable and fierce at the same time. It's that's really that sense that it's really appealing in a way. Like one minute she can be so happy and high spirited. Next minute you ended up knocking her strawberry shortcake on the ground, and then she's gonna kill you. It's like one of those great personalities. I enjoy her as a character as well because Urza is a really, really intriguing style character. And another reason is because of her childhood, of what happened with her and Jalal and Simon and Miliana. It was very depressing how her village was raided and and people were murdered, and then the kids were taken in as slaves to build this huge built place or something. I can't remember. And I found that intriguing. So off to you on your favorite characters.
Alright, my favorite male character of all time is probably Kyon from the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, for several reasons actually. Number one, his sort of monotone, drawn-out, pessimistic view on life kinda resonated with what I think about people and sometimes, and the way he did it was absolutely hilarious and he draws it out and exaggerates a lot of things, and I think that's what makes him a great character. His ability to see the world in ways that other people really shouldn't be seeing the world, but then realizing eventually that, wait, things are kind of different here, and I'm in for kind of a ridiculous ride of some sorts. And he also brought to the table the really awkward interactions with other girls, I guess. He and Haruhi were always sort of on edge against each other or whatever. Mikuru, Mikuru was the moe blob of the show, and he really didn't know how to act around her, I guess, whether to be attracted or a fear for her, I guess, when she's attacked by Haruhi. And the way he watches it kind of helplessly adds a lot of humor.
Which is hilarious as hell, sorry to say. But Haruhi was like one of the, was like funny. And what she always kept doing was hilarious.
My favorite YouTube video from the series is a clip called "The Reaping of Miku or Asahina," and you need to watch that clip right there, and then it'll basically sum up Haruhi's personality in a nutshell. I may link it in somewhere in the video description. It's not mine though. I don't know if YouTube will let me do that, but in the future though, I'll let you guys know where to find that clip because it's absolutely hilarious. Not to mention though that the voice acting for Keone was done by none other than Crispin Freeman, my favorite male voice actor of all time, and the way he played his role was absolutely amazing. He really drew out the long, sort of monotonistic personality of Keone. Moving on to my favorite female character, however, though, my favorite female character is Holo from Spice and Wolf. What can I say? Can't really say much about her though. Fox Girl, sassy. She's tsundere as all heck, and just an overall amazing performance though in the English dub. She was played by Brina Palencia, and that girl played her perfectly. I can't give her enough praise for what she did in that show. Just watch it, you'll understand why I like it so much. For our last segment though, Tepez, what was the first show you've ever watched in the anime genre?
That's a really tough question because I'm not sure if I can recall. The only animes that I might think of that were originally the first would either be Uniasha, which Kagome was one of my favorite characters, even though I really, really need to watch that show again because I have not seen every episode. I missed a few in my childhood, and it was really, really awesome because it involved demons, which I loved. Another one I think it might have been my first, I'm not entirely sure, was Dragon Ball Z. And Dragon Ball Z. Great childhood, great memories. Goku being a badass, and then Gohan being the crap out of his cell. And the other one possibly I think was Sailor Moon. Or Sailor Moon might have been my first as well. I'm not entirely sure, but those were probably the three animes that I saw first. And I enjoyed all three, but Sailor Moon was kind of a tradition with my sister. Whenever it would be on the week, it would be like on Saturday mornings. My sister would come get me saying, I'm not going to say my real name currently. She'd be like, "Tepes, come on, it's Sailor Moon's going to be on in a few minutes. Let's go watch it." I'd be like, and I would get up and go watch it with her. Because it became a tradition with my sister, and it was a very good show. On to you.
Well, traditionally speaking, I think my first show was probably Pokemon. Japanese-made anime. I don't care what you guys say. Pokemon was an anime. Screw you guys if you say differently. Yu-Gi-Oh! Very early show. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was godlike. But then, like, from what I say, third grade, I stopped watching what I would consider anime, I think, and more into like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, you know, kind of like that iCarly phase in middle school and elementary school that I'm not particularly fond of anymore. But then something happened, something amazing. Freshman year, I rediscovered real anime. And for the first time ever, like my friend was like, "Dude, listen, there's something called Attack on Titan." And I'm like, "What's this? Attack on Titan? Oh my god! Like this thing's amazing! Like what is this stuff called anime?" And lo and behold, I was like, "Oh my god, Attack on Titan, best show ever! 10 out of 10! Like would recommend anyone. Oh my god, anime is so good." So basically, I
Hey, wake
binge
up!
watched any single show I've ever seen. I watched so many shows, and I was brought back into the anime realm. And now I realize that Attack on Titan's not as good as I used to think it was, but nonetheless,
It
great show.
it honestly isn't.
I know it it wasn't as good of a show, and I watched. I think after that, I think I watched 130 different series besides Attack on Titan, and that brought me to my current standing on anime today, where I have watched almost collectively like 30 some days combined. I am sad. Okay, well, wrapping this up because Tepez has to leave. Next week, Tepez is going to be reviewing the anime called Absolute Duo, and I'm going to be giving a review, or first impression, should I say, over the first 5 episodes of Kantai Collection and the first 5 episodes of Death Parade.
Uh, yeah, I can give. I'll, from what I can see of Absolute Duo currently, is that it's not a bad anime. Some things there's some pros and cons towards it, but we'll get into that next week. Other than that, have a good night, people. Great day, and we'll see you next week.
Come back next week to see our review over Absolute Duo, Kantai Collection, and Death Parade. See you then, guys. Dose.